Hi, this is Adam Fiore with Chandler Limited coming to you from Musikmesse 2016. And this year's show, we're introducing the TH Microphone Cassette. This is something new. It's a new addition to our EMI Abbey Road Studios Historic Series. And it includes the TG2 preamp, a TG1 limiter, and the curve bender EQ. The TG2 and the curve bender EQ are coupled together, and the TG1 limiter is patchable separately from the TG2 and the curve bender EQ sections. And it's a TG1 opto implementation of the TG1 limiter. Turns out, little known fact, that the EMI engineers had experimented with opto circuits in their compressors and limiters, though they never put them into service officially. And we went ahead and we did that for the very first time here. And again, it's independently patchable, so you can use it separate from the TG2 and preamp, the TG2 preamp and curve bender EQ section. And it's also linkable, so you could strap a pair of these to your master bus and literally have a TG console, master bus section. So we've also added to the TG2 preamp section, we've gone back to the original way they did it on the console, where you had coarse gain in 5 dB settings roughly, and a plus and minus 10 dB gain, fine gain, which allows you to get in between the cracks. Opened all the way up, it gives you plus 70 dB of gain in total. And we also gave you the rumble filter, which was found on our Red 47, which was the tube preamp from the Red 51 console that EMI had. And people loved this so much that we added it to the TG for the first time. And that's basically their low cut or high pass, and you can use that to basically get rid of unwanted low end noise and whatnot. But it's more than that. It actually acts as a tone control, because when you engage it, it actually does something very nice harmonically to the overall content of the box. So you have a DI, and you can go DI right there, and you can also go line input through the XLR, and you have 48 volt and phase reverse. And then over here on the curve bender section, you have a treble shelf at 8.1K, and you have a bass shelf at 91. And you also have a bypass for the entire EQ, and you have a frequency switchable presence or midband that is peaking, so you can go plus or minus. And you can also switch the midband completely out while leaving the treble and bass intact. You have an output fader for the TG2 curve bender EQ section, and what it does is basically acts as like an output fader on a console. And to add the TG1 to the mix, you essentially would use a patch cable in the back and patch in out from the preamp EQ section into the input of the TG1 Opto, and then back out to your DAW. TG1 Opto implementation also brings back features from the original console, like the hold control. And essentially this hold control is not to be confused with the hold on the RS-124 compressor. It doesn't work like that at all. The hold was used, as you can see the needle on the meter moving as I adjust it. It was used for the engineer to set the amount of compression or limiting that they wanted prior to the take. And then once audio was being triggered, the needle would move and you would see the amount of compression that you actually had going on. We gave you 2 knees, and this is again a prototype faceplate. It's actually on the release model will say sharp, and it will say rounded, and sharp being limit mode on the regular TG1, and the soft, which is rounded in fact, will be more of a soft onset, but works independently of compression. And then we have an output or makeup gain for the compressor to return to level after compression or limiting if you had any loss there. And then we have variable attack and release. The original consoles only had stepped release settings, and they had fixed attack. They could not change it. The engineers had to live with what it had on the console. So we gave you a variable attack. And that's it in a nutshell. It's 2849 US MAP, and it will be available shortly. It'll actually be shipping probably right around the beginning of June.